Hey, welcome to another episode. And in this episode, okay. You don't have to be the sharpest knife in the drawer to be successful. Welcome to another episode. In this episode, I want to talk to you about what it really takes to be successful as an entrepreneur. And here's what I know it doesn't take. It doesn't take an enormous amount of intellectual capacity to be successful as an entrepreneur. Have you ever met that person who has a great idea? I mean, they have a multi-million-dollar idea, and they have the plan, and they know the people, and they know the product, and they know how to distribute it, and they know how to sell it, and they're passionate about it, yet they never pull the trigger on it. Have you met that person? I hope that person's not you. But I think we have all had good ideas about various things. I know I have, and there have been times when I haven't pulled the trigger and followed through on my idea. Why? Why do people have a great idea and not pull the trigger, not follow through on their great idea, especially when they know that it's a multi-million-dollar idea? Well, there are a number of reasons, but the basic reason is there's a deep-seated feeling of unworthiness about that particular idea, that particular goal, that particular dream. Now, I don't want to get too woo-woo on you here in this video. There are other times and places for that. But essentially, if you don't feel a great depth of self-worth, if you don't feel like you are of value, that you have high self-esteem, if you have doubts about yourself, if you have doubts about your abilities, then that's going to express itself in the marketplace. And that's why people don't pull the trigger on a great idea they have. Because the person that's really successful has the idea, yes, but what they have is that intangible. They have that thing you can't measure, that thing that you can't buy in a bookstore, that thing that you can't see on a video or get at a seminar. It's grit, it's determination, it's guts, it's being a baller. And when you have that characteristic in your personality about that passionate dream or vision that you have, then everything else seems to fall in place. Not only that, when you come up against a wall, when you come up against opposition, when you get pushback on your idea or your dream or your business, well, because you have the grit, the determination, the vision, the passion, the commitment, you figure out ways to get around it. You figure out ways to adjust. You figure out ways to adapt so that your idea, your passion, your dream plays itself out. The people that have this kind of passion, this kind of determination, they do other things to support themselves in their dream as a business person. What they do is they'll hire great people. They'll hire people that essentially are smarter than they are, or more effective than they are, or more skilled than they are in certain areas. So then their job is to be the leader of that person, to be the inspiration of that person. And so the smart business person, the entrepreneurial genius, understands that it does not take a genius Mensa IQ to be successful. What it does take is a great deal of self-worthiness, a very high emotional intelligence quotient, and this is how people who are successful are able to be successful. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't use your intellect. That doesn't mean that you don't use your smarts, that you don't evaluate, that you don't analyze the business model, and all the moving pieces that it takes to make it successful. You have to do that on an ongoing basis. You have to be able to shift and turn, and a lot of that is brain power. But the brain power is only in response to the willpower. And the willpower is only in response to the worthiness factor, the factor of self-esteem that you know you are worth this particular goal. And so when I coach people and when I mentor people, often we'll get to the root of what's blocking them, and what's blocking them is the self-worthiness issue. And I'll be honest with you, daily I have to address that, because I want my life to continue to elevate and continue to evolve and go to another level. And the level I am right now is a zillion times bigger and higher than the level I was, say, 5 or 10 years ago. And the level that I will be in 5 or 10 years will be a zillion times more elevated than the level I am now. And that's because I have the vision, and that's because I always am at work on my self-worthiness, on my esteem, on my emotional intelligence quotient, so that I don't operate in an intellectual world. I operate in a spiritual world, and in a world where my self-worth as a human being gets to be manifest to the world. So a couple of questions for you. Do you have a dream? Have you had a dream of a business, a great idea that you haven't followed through on? Ask yourself why. What really was at the root of that indecision, or at the root of not following through on that? And when you ask that question, ask yourself another question. Why? And when you answer that question, ask yourself another question. Why? Just keep going deeper and deeper, and unfurling the layers of your personality so that you get the real sense of why you made the decisions that you did in that event. Here's the second point. Do you have a business right now that has plateaued? Maybe you've plateaued financially, you've plateaued in your gross revenues, or maybe you've plateaued in the way you feel about your business. You don't have that same passion. You lack the intensity that you once had. Let's analyze that. So ask yourself again, why? Why am I not having the same amount of passion? Why have I plateaued? What else needs to happen in order to elevate to the next level? And so if you've had an idea and you haven't created the business, why? If you have the business and you haven't elevated to the next level, why? And let's go one step further, because this is really this is like the main thing of success, right? So you're moving along, you have a great business, you have great teammates, you have great employees, you have great staff, you have a great product, everything is going along fine, but you still feel that little nagging inside of you about, okay, there's something else, right? There's something else. That's fair. That's very fair. So it's fair to ask yourself why, and it's fair to ask yourself what needs to happen in order to fill that void and move to the next level. Because I know this, if you're not progressing, if you're not evolving, then essentially you're dying. You're dying inside. Your dreams are dying. Your potential is dying. And that, my friends, is about the worst death that you can experience. The death of unfulfilled potential. So there are your points today for about what it takes really to succeed in business. Not so much intellect, but willpower, determination, and self-worthiness. So go out and examine your life and your business and see where that works for you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like the video, share the video, comment on the video, send it to all your friends. And if at any time you would like to have a complimentary strategy session with me, get on paulmontalongo.com/strategy, and I'm happy to give you a specific plan on how to elevate your business and your life to the next level. Go out and make it a great day. Yeah.